Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of DGS2 Case 4. So here we are in the prosecutor's office having a little chat with Asogi. We're gonna do a little catching up with him since it's been well over a year since we really got to see Asogi. So let's figure out what's been going on. Your disappearance last year. It's already been a year since that incident on the RFS Alacre. In a first-class cabin on a steamship headed for Japan to the Great British Empire. A series of unfortunate coincidences came together and caused that tragedy. I truly thought at that time that I'd lost my best friend.
When I awoke from my long sleep, I was lying in a bed. It was a narrow room, and my pillow had been decorated with a wreath of flowers. It took me a little while to realize that was a ship cabin. I snuck quietly out of that room and headed to the deck.
Had you already lost your memories at that point?
Yeah, but the whole time, I heard this voice in my head. You have a mission to complete. No one must know of it. Go to the Great British Empire. Your mission awaits you there. I couldn't disobey it. It was a very forceful voice. When I got up on deck, I realized that the massive steamship had made port somewhere.
That must have been Hong Kong. That must have been right before they came to get your body.
I didn't know what was going on, but somehow, I was keenly aware that that was my last chance. Then, I slipped in among the other passengers and disembarked. I concealed myself in that unknown country's unknown port town, in order to get myself to the Great British Empire.
Your journey to England.
Last year, I was left behind in Hong Kong with no memories. The unfamiliar sense of that foreign port left my head spinning, and I was utterly helpless. I made my escape as little more than a corpse, so I had nothing on me, including money.
You poor thing. Please, break my heart even more.
However, fortunately I had two powerful weapons at my disposal.
Was one of those English?
Exactly. Thanks to that, I was able to secure a job as a crew member on a merchant ship. And I journeyed through countless ports, and finally arrived at Dover Harbor. That was about 3 months ago.
Sounds like you're scarily determined, as always. He lost everything, including his memories, and yet he managed to make it here to London all by himself. That's honestly impressive and terrifying.
Well, at that point I still had no idea what I was coming to do.
So then, why did you end up becoming Lord Van Zieks' apprentice?
All I can say about that is that it was a curious twist of fate. I was apprehended by the immigration office as an illegal alien and escorted to Scotland Yard. That's when, thanks to a coincidental meeting he had there, I met Lord Vortex. That's where my second powerful weapon came into play.
Could that have been your knowledge of the law?
Yeah, it was. Lord Vortex's curiosity was piqued by this Oriental who knew so much about English law. He brought me to the prosecutor's office and gave me a place in this office.
Then, 9 days ago, you regained your memories in that trial.
That's right.
Your dad, Genshin. Oh, I don't know if I like where this is gonna go. Back at Yume University, when we first met, I remember you saying this.
I have to get over to the Great British Empire by being selected as a legal program exchange student.
Did you know? About your father's incident, I mean.
16 years ago. At the time when my father left for England, I was still very young. A photo was taken on the day of his departure. That's the last memory I have of him. Even so, I clearly recall my father's unwavering sense of justice. Six years later, a gentleman came to my house. He came to tell us that my dad Genshin had died of an illness in London. And that gentleman was your father, Professor Mikotoba. After that, Professor Mikotoba took me in. He also helped pay for my education at Yume University. I owe him my life. However, I wasn't able to fully believe what he told me.
Huh?
One day, a copy of a sealed letter arrived at my family's home from the Great British Empire. The sender's name wasn't indicated. We figured it must have been one of my dad's English acquaintances, so we opened it. The things written in that letter completely changed my life.
What did it say?
That letter declared my dad a serial killer and cursed the entire Asogi family.
What?
That letter revealed everything to me.
The letter from England.
That letter was likely written by a family member of one of the serial killer's victims. It's equally likely that family member was also involved in the justice system and was in the gallery for that trial. That letter informed us that my dad had been executed as a serial killer.
Oh my god.
Of course, the English government probably silenced them, but it's only natural that there would be those who'd be unable to control their emotions after learning the truth at that secret trial.
But there's no way to know from just that letter whether that was true or not.
The letter also contained a clipping of a newspaper article. That's how I first learned about the existence of the professor.
What did my dad say about that letter?
I couldn't bring myself to show it to him.
Huh? Why not?
Professor Mikotoba had gone to the trouble of hiding the truth and informed me that my dad had died due to an illness. He did it out of genuine consideration for me. That's why I showed that letter instead to Judge Jigoku.
To Judge Jigoku?
He looked at the letter for a moment, then laughed it off. But I noticed that moment's hesitation. I noticed the fear and obvious shaken expression on his face. My mom collapsed from a severe anxiety-related illness and passed away a year later. And that's when I decided that someday, without fail, I'd make the crossing to the Great British Empire and confirm the facts with my own eyes. I'd uncover the truth of what happened to my dad, Asogi Genshin. Without anyone else's help.
Kazuma-sama. Asogi's family doesn't get a break. What the heck? His mom died too? Oh my god. Also, no. You should not do it. Most fictional works have proven that doing everything yourself usually does not end well. But also, oh my god, can we give this man a hug? Trying the Grim Reaper.
The circumstances surrounding the murder certainly changed drastically during today's trial. Your work was truly spectacular, Naruhodō Ryūnosuke.
Lord Baroque Van Zieks wasn't the Grim Reaper. As much as I don't want to believe it, he was actually the victim, Detective Gregson.
It's obvious that detective was acting as the Grim Reaper.
Huh? Did he know that already?
The problem is who the detective was taking orders from. That's what it all comes down to. Baroque Van Zieks is the Grim Reaper. At the very least, I know that. 10 years ago, he insisted that my dad was a murderer and made sure that he went to the gallows.
But it was the law that sentenced him, not Lord Van Zieks.
People are sentenced by other people. The law is nothing more than a guide to doing so. Those who try others are responsible for the verdict. That's a necessary resolve they must possess. And I know my dad wasn't a serial killer.
Asogi.
The one who took my dad's life was the Grim Reaper.
He's never gonna let that go. You can just feel that seething hatred and anger behind that. He's never gonna let that go. Alright, looks like we're presenting some stuff, so here we go! Asogi, this is your armband.
No, that belongs to you now.
Huh?
You have talent as a defense attorney. I thought so for a long time now. You chose that path for yourself, and have walked along it, unwavering. As your friend, nothing makes me happier or prouder than that.
Asogi. Oh!
That's for you to wear. Besides, I'm a prosecutor now. I can't be seen wearing that.
Yeah, I get it. Thanks, Asogi. Oh, these two. This part of the case really surprised me. This red-headed league.
I'm less interested in that criminal scheme. I'm more surprised that redheads from all over London actually turned up for that.
And one of them was London's prided great detective.
Well, I'm sure those two are reflecting on their wrongs in a cell right about now.
I feel like like I remember them saying they'd be planning their next crime in the dark. Nope, nope. We're looking around. The Lord's chalices and Lord's bottles are arranged beautifully here.
That's the part that Baroque Van Zieks is the fussiest over. He seems to have detailed rules about everything, from the care of the barrels to the bottling process.
You must have had it rough, being the apprentice for someone like that.
Actually, it wasn't at all.
Huh?
After all, he was so picky about it that he ended up taking care of everything himself. Thanks to that, things were pretty easy for me.
What a weird relationship. That's Lord Van Zieks' work desk. Everything about it is highly elegant.
Speaking of high, it was too tall for me.
Oh, you're used to sitting sitsa style, aren't you? The first time I saw you there, I thought you were being punished.
That's the most soothing way for me.
I can't handle it. My legs fall asleep after just 2 minutes.
That's pathetic. No one lasts just 2 minutes, Naruhodō.
I don't know, man. My legs would probably be dead too. Do you know about the man in this portrait?
Of course I don't.
Huh? But you're his apprentice, right?
Being his apprentice doesn't mean we're friends. I'd lost my memory, remember? I hardly even noticed that painting.
I see. It's pretty huge, though.
No matter what sort of paintings that man chooses to hang in this office, I don't particularly care.
Oh, the model changed now. This is...
It's a reproduction of this case's crime scene.
Yeah, I knew that, but... Does he make these ultra-precise things every time?
Apparently. Some things become clearer in the process of making a reproduction. Incidentally, I made this bulletin board.
I wonder if he enjoyed doing this a little. Asogi likes his arts and crafts. Bless. What?
Bats, huh? Very fitting for him.
Come to think of it, I think Lord Vortex has doves flying around his office.
Does one need to love birds in order to fit in among the members of this country's legal system?
Well, bats aren't birds, though. Hey, Asogi, how about some swallows for you?
What for?
What? Oh, nothing. Okay, there is an explanation for it, but I can't explain it right now because I don't remember what it is, so I'll probably add the information about why swallows for Asogi in particular, because swallow has some kind of meaning. I read it somewhere, so hopefully I can find it by the time I get around to this editing, so... This wall is covered in years' worth of barrels as usual. I wonder if he calls them his Lord's barrels.
They're all arranged by region, year, and flavor profile. but about once a week, he removes all the barrels from the shelf and rearranges them.
Huh? Why would he go to such trouble?
Apparently he can't find his ideal arrangement. Whether by region, year, or flavor profile, it seems that none of the arrangements satisfy him.
That must have been rough on you as an apprentice.
Actually, it wasn't.
Huh?
He'd say he couldn't bring himself to entrust his precious barrels to anyone else, and would rearrange them all himself.
What the heck? Me too! Oh my god, does Asogi just do paperwork and do arts and crafts the whole time? Is that it? That seems like an easy life. We need to present more things. As soon as I figure out where the autopsy report is. Is that it? That looks like it. Come to think of it, I couldn't help wondering about this during the trial today. This autopsy report doesn't have an estimated time of death recorded on it.
During today's trial, you shouted out quite a shocking possibility. That the victim was in fact killed the day before, and in a different location.
The unwound watch, the powder burns on the candle. When you consider the evidence and the state of the crime scene, I think it's possible.
To be honest, I wondered about it as well. That's why I made a trip to the forensic pathology lab a little while ago. But the coroner in charge was out and I couldn't meet her. Her name is Dr. Galloyd.
If you don't mind, Kazuma-sama, we'd like to hear what the coroner has to say as well.
Naturally, you're welcome to ask her. I don't intend to hide any of the facts of this case from you.
Oh, that's nice of you.
The Yard's Forensic Pathology Lab is located behind Lowgate Cemetery.
Lowgate. That's where Barclay Prison is.
Did you know? That's the prison where the life of my dad, Genshin, was taken.
Kazuma-sama.
Thanks. We'll go check it out later.
Naruhodō. There's something I need to thank you for.
What's that?
This. You protected the spirit of the Asogi family for me.
That's a famous sword that's been handed down through your family, right? I'm glad that I was able to return it to you. I never once drew it myself, though.
The famous sword Karma. It's said to have been made by a famous blacksmith during the Sengoku period. The Asogi clan is a long-standing martial arts family, especially famous for its sword skills.
I guess that explains why your stance is so flawless.
The symbol of the Asogi clan is this sword, Karma. I hear that one of my dad's apprentices took its name as their surname.
Oh really? You don't say! Karma, huh? Sounds pretty formidable.
When my dad arrived in London 16 years ago to study abroad, he always wore this sword on his belt. That's why I'm so glad that I can wear it on my belt now. It's all thanks to you, Naruhodō.
Asogi.
You must have preparations for tomorrow to attend to. Maybe we spent too long talking.
Asogi, you've changed.
I haven't changed. The one who has changed is you, Naruhodō.
I can of course understand why you hate Lord Van Zieks. But as far as this case goes...
Are you going to say it has no bearing on it? How can you be so sure?
Huh?
Well, whatever. That man is the Grim Reaper. That's why the detective was killed. I'm going to prove that, by any means necessary.
I can't allow that, Asogi.
You go ahead and try. It goes without saying, but I'm not going to pull any punches tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
In that case, I'll see you tomorrow, in the Supreme Court.
That was a very riveting conversation with Asogi, so now we must move on, unfortunately. We must say goodbye to him, and move on to continue our investigations. As soon as I figure out where St. Andrews is. This looks like Andrews. Let's go. St. Andrews. Please, let it be St. Andrews. I don't want to go through the whole scene again. Thank God I got it right again. Woo! Same day, unspecified time, St. Andrews Hospital, room 3.
Apparently Daemwatchon-sama was taken to this hospital room.
To be honest, it's gonna be hard to face him.
Hello, Mr. Lawyer.
Are you alright?
Yes, fortunately. I somehow managed to compose myself.
I'm so sorry. It's my fault that your secret was exposed, and you had to recall those painful memories.
To be honest, the prosecutor just left a moment ago.
Huh? Asogi was here?
He said something not unlike what you just did and bowed his head before me. But both of those things were things that I invited upon myself.
Daemwatchon-sama.
I always felt dreadfully guilty about deceiving my wife, Anna. But it wasn't just that. I was also unconsciously deceiving myself.
You're referring to the disciplinary dismissal notice.
Now that I think back on it, perhaps it was no coincidence that I happened to meet Detective Gregson that time. He gave me a shocking amount of compensation for agreeing to be his proxy. Maybe it was his way of showing his concern for me, who had lost everything.
Does that mean that Detective Gregson knew everything?
I consider this my retribution for the lie-filled decade I've lived. However, I wasn't the one who helped the professor break out 10 years ago. I swear, among all my lies, that was true!
Daemwatchon-sama.
Maybe it's a little irrational to be saying this at a time like this, but if possible, we'd like to hear what you have to say.
Personally, I'd like someone to hear me out, especially now. What was I supposed to have done?
we're gonna have time to go into the dialogue, so we're just gonna go ahead and look. Oh. We're gonna look at stuff around his hospital, and then we'll end it. Come to think of it. What is this? I don't think this is a thing. I think I clicked the wrong thing. I mean, this might be the warning sign, this might not be the warning sign. About this warning sign, I'm not sure, is it?
Perhaps it's a motto of some sort? Like this greetings with a smile part.
Payment with a smile. Discharge with a smile. Wow, you're pretty good, Susato-san. You got the with a smile part right.
Maybe they have a lot of patients who don't pay their doctor bills with a smile.
I mean, who smiles paying bills? A long time ago, I caught the only cold I ever had and was given a painful shot. I was suffering and then made to experience even more pain, and then made to pay for it. I can't forget it even now.
You're a rather difficult patient, aren't you?
These appear to be reminders about the patient. What do we have here? Has a habit of jumping out the window. Don't forget to put a cushion on the ground outside. True, this is the second floor, isn't it?
Poor Daemwatchon-sama.
I think there's something else they ought to try before they go putting cushions on the ground. I guess recovering something you've lost isn't always fun in games. I guess sometimes pursuing the truth involves hurting people sometimes, huh?
Perhaps you're right.
There are a bunch of different glass medicine bottles lined up on this cabinet too. I wonder if it's really a good idea to keep them there.
Oh my, you seem like you might drain them dry if you got hungry, Naruhodō-sama.
Yeah, but at least it seems to have a little lock on it.
But you seem like you might pick that lock if you were hungry, Naruhodō-sama.
I won't turn into a criminal just because I'm hungry, you know. I don't know, man. These are crutches. I guess they have them in the Great British Empire as well.
They may have been brought to Japan from the Great British Empire.
The Japanese word has the characters for pine needles in them, so I always assumed they were invented in Japan. Either way, I don't have very nice memories about these.
Oh my, did you get injured and need to use them? Use them for a while?
When I was little, I borrowed a pair for fun and was playing with them. Oh. When my foot slipped, and I got a sprain.
I see.
These devilish sticks are meant to help people when they're hurt, but they can also hurt an uninjured person.
I think that's more the fault of a certain naughty little boy and his tricks.
These appear to be reminders about the patient. What do we have here? Love's matchless caretaking. I guess they're talking about the patient who sleeps here?
Well, Daemwatchon-sama still isn't emotionally stable. I think it's best if he's cared for by someone kind.
This matchless part is kind of bothering me a little. If Daemwatchon-san might actually like the kind of caretaker who would open the window for him and say, "Here, go ahead," if he were to say, "I want to jump."
I'll ask the doctor about this later.
What an interesting hospital. There are various medicine bottles lined up on top of the cabinet. I wonder if it's really a good idea to keep them there.
Oh my, you might drink them while you were half asleep if it were you, Naruhodō-sama.
Yeah, but at least it seems to have a little lock on it.
But you might just open that lock right up while you were half asleep if it were you, Naruhodō-sama.
being half asleep doesn't give you special powers, you know. Alright, we're slightly over time now, so next time we get into this, we will talk to Mr. Daemwatchon proper. So I'll see you guys then.